War. War never changes.
Welcome to episode number 31 of War Never Changes, your weekly video game podcast. That is a hairy ass arm by Mr. Oh my God. By Phil McCracken, the co-host with the most. My name is Jim, but enough about me. Let's talk about you, Phil. How are you doing today, sir?
Much better than you. Much better than you.
Well, if you want to talk about me briefly, my whole life has been turned upside down. No, it's not that bad. Air conditioning went out, super huge expensive bill, moving everything around so these guys can get in there. We are ultra COVID conservative people in our household. So getting everything out of the way for these people to come in, setting up stuff on our floor so that they don't scratch our wood floors. It's been a complete, I'm going to lower my camera a little bit. It's been a complete week. This whole weekend has been shot, but I'm here with you. I'm happy to record tomorrow. Tomorrow, by the time you guys are watching this on the YouTubes, it should be done. Everything should be done. The new air conditioner should be in, and my life will slowly turn back to normal. That's the hope. We'll see. So we got some interesting things to talk about this week, Phil. Something you just brought up, it actually ties into the first thing I wanted to address. Because we spent so much time last week on the PlayStation, I thought we'd shift gears and talk a little bit about Xbox this week. And you told me, I didn't even know this, it's kind of funny, that we are not calling it the X-Bone anymore. We are now calling it the Sex.
Yep. Big S, little E, big X.
Series
X, the Sex.
Do you think that Microsoft planned this?
Oh, yeah.
Like they knew what they were doing.
Phil Spencer's like, we're going to build the sex appeal right into this bitch.
What if Phil Spencer is like the perviest guy in the room and he's constantly making like dick jokes and they're like, Phil, we should call it the Odyssey or the Oedipus or I don't know, some like the Heaven. He's like, let's call it the Sex. I got the acronym, but you got to come up with the words.
Okay, there's no way he could be a bigger pervert than the CEO of Ubisoft.
Oh, Yves Guillemot.
And we've got the lawsuits to prove it.
There's a line out the door of people who feel uncomfortable working at Ubisoft. I mean, I guess you could argue that the Sex, he didn't know. He's like, oh, crap. Oh, well, let those kids on Reddit have fun with it. It's okay. I don't know.
He also came out and said that console tribalism is the worst thing about the entire industry.
That was part of the thing I wanted to talk about. I see you're laughing. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's like great that he said that because he's 100% right. But that probably just alienated so many hardcore Xbox fans.
I mean, there is definitely some console pride. There's always been. And I think it's a healthy thing. I think it's even healthy to be a PC gamer versus a console gamer, a Switch gamer versus whatever. I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's like saying, for me, I'm a huge Chicago Bears fan. Our biggest rivals are the Packers. I hate the Packers. I hate them. I hate everything about them. I have friends who are Packers fans. Clearly we can get along. But I hate the Packers. That'll never change. So I think there's an okay rivalry there. I don't think by saying, like PlayStation, I necessarily hate Xbox, but I'm not allowed to have a preference. Like, I don't know what he was going for with that. I mean, it's a little too pie in the sky for me.
Yeah, I find it ironic that you hate the Packers since you are a Packer.
You're such an idiot. Wow. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to point out, we're doing this at 9:09 Eastern because my schedule is totally hosed. We usually do this on a Wednesday night. Phil, clearly a couple sheets into the wind. I don't know. Sitting in that hotel room, raiding that minibar, coming up with zingers.
Bro, that's the sort of thing you won't say it for the people, but on game chat, if I would have said anything like that, it would have been 10 minutes of just you berating me.
I'm the straight man on this show. So if I stooped down to where you are currently at, this show would veer off, and we probably wouldn't be able to upload it. That's all I'm gonna say. The other thing that was kind of interesting from the Xbox standpoint, beside relating to Phil Spencer, I guess, was that he said that Microsoft was legitimately surprised that PlayStation wasn't working on two power models in the similar way that you have the Series S and the Series X. And he was really, really surprised that PlayStation offered the exact same hardware specifications for a disc and a discless version. I find that hard to believe. When we first heard that, well, I shouldn't say we, I'll speak for myself. I thought the Series S was a bad idea from the beginning. After seeing a lot of the performance specifications and how it runs and gameplay footage of it, I know it was a bad idea. And I think people who bought it are probably pretty pissed. But what do you think? Does this surprise you, what he's saying? I mean, where do you think he's coming from here?
It's the console that nobody asked for or needed, because guess what? The Xbox One X is still a fantastic console, and it's still a very powerful piece of equipment. It's not as powerful as the Xbox Series X, but I mean, it's gonna realistically have to go down in price. What little units are left out there, I mean, I don't know why they shifted production over to the Series S and took Xbox One X production offline, but that was a stupid move. No one asked for that thing. It's underpowered. It doesn't do anything that it was advertised or that people wanted it to do. So, I mean, we keep hearing about all these things that it's capable of, for such limited hardware. It's really good for what it is. Like, that's
Right.
just a nice way of saying, this is a piece of shit, but it doesn't smell that bad.
Yeah, he goes on to say basically in this quote, and he did an article with The Verge, and he says, we're always wanting to grow and we always want to find new customers. The way I would frame it, the best argument against doing two next generation consoles was Sony. We didn't think that they were going to do that. So I'm with you. I think the Series S was a horrible idea. I've seen so many gameplay clips of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Digital Foundry just did a really big deep dive today of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and it doesn't look very good. It has a lot of technical issues. It's not that 60 frame per second machine people thought it would be. It's lower frame rate. It's lower resolution. I'm shocked that they made it. I'm shocked people bought it. I suspect in a year from now, it's going to be gone.
There's no way that the CEO of one of the child companies of the largest and most powerful computing company in the world didn't know something that crucial in the space in which they operated and of their largest competitor. There's no way. It's not a credible claim on his part. It's horseshit. Anyone with half a brain can see through that.
Yeah, I was really surprised that this article just came out today. This interview came out today, but I'll be curious as it gains more traction in the coming days if everybody's like, no duh, dude, like this was a weird idea. But I was surprised to hear him say that because I just think back to when it was first announced, and everyone's like, wait, what? Like all these hot new things you're trying to get us to buy in on, and ray tracing and next gen stuff. It's like we're not going to have any of that, but we still want your money.
Right. Right. It's like, what was it, $200 less or something stupid?
Yeah, well, that was the big thing. Was it was a lower price point, and everybody rejoiced like they've won. I remember seeing the price come out because it was a leak. It leaked. The YouTube the advertisement leaked,
The
and
Pringle.
everybody lost their mind. They go, "This it. Microsoft's won. They won the price war. Look at the entry point for this." And now I'm seeing performance, and I'm like, there's a reason it's cheap, guys.
Dude, what were the opening week numbers and sales and units? Like, I think Xbox had like 26,000 or something stupid, and PlayStation had like over 100,000.
Oh, I haven't seen number. Okay, so yeah, I haven't seen launch numbers yet, but maybe they're starting to circulate around. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that opening week PlayStation sold 4-1. So
it seems to me there's more hype for PlayStation right now, and I really attribute that to their games. Really, Spider-Man more than anything. Particularly because Halo did have a delay, and there's really no hot reason to get an Xbox today.
yeah,
So that does make sense. I'll be curious to see as some of these launches start, and Halo has said that they're going to be coming back strong next year. I hope that's true. I'll be curious to see if this popular opinion shifts. But as of right now, yeah, I don't know. I guess the numbers are the true thing here. I guess more than anything, the numbers are going to dictate what people think or don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely
Uh,
don't buy an Xbox to play Assassin's Creed because the new Assassin's Creed's fucking annoying as shit. There's my little hot take.
what is wrong with? Go. I want to hear it. Go ahead. Carry on.
It's just directionless, man. It's just like, oh, go get this gold, like go 90 miles up this mountain to get this gold or talk to this weird person. And then like, we're going to give you one hint. Like, here's a mission. You have to find this thing, like search around. And it turns out it's at the bottom of a fucking lake.
Oh, you're talking about the
Just
comb side
ev-
quest.
Everything about it is just a
So
little
you don't
annoying.
like? See, you know what's funny to me is I have not been a big fan of Assassin's Creed, really since Black Flag, and this one hooked me. And I think it's because it's the least assassin-y game. It's combat. There's no stealth. You blow a horn. Your 40 of your best friends get off the boat, and you murder and burn everything to the ground. There's no stealth. There doesn't need to be. I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure you could upgrade stealth, but it's irrelevant. You're running
Yeah.
in. I use a big flail with a big shield. I'm swinging the flail over my head and bashing people. I got my second, what Yorm's Viking or whatever.
Yeah.
She's running around killing everybody. We're just murdering everything. There's bodies everywhere, corpses everywhere. The whole town's on fire. Like, all right, let's get back on the boat, and then you go down the street and do it again. Um, but I like it. I guess I'm hearing you're saying you don't like it. I guess that's your hot take.
I wouldn't say that I don't like it. It's just annoying, and I've pretty much I don't. It's probably because I'm playing Spider-Man at the same time, and I'm having a lot of fun with Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and it's hard for me to get into. And they're just two very very different games. Once I'm done with Spider-Man, I'll be able to really recommit myself to Assassin's Creed. I tried to play both at once, and I just
It's hard.
yeah, I it made me lose interest in Assassin's Creed almost immediately.
Yeah, I think it's, I'm usually one of those types of gamers who has 3 or 4 games in rotation that I'm always playing, but very rarely two of the same genre. It's difficult to play two open world games like that you can get lost into for a very long time because they do play very, very different.
Yeah,
I will say Assassin's Creed, there were some side quests that really surprised me, both just how dumb they were and just how incredible they were. I don't want to give anything away, but there's a couple really cool ones that totally caught me off guard, and I was like, "Wow, that was really interesting," because you would have never seen this otherwise. You have to go hunt and find these things. You got to fly around the bird
yeah.
and look for the pillars of light and go to it. It's there. The trouble's there if you want it to be, but you don't. It's I don't know. I felt rewarded for doing it, I guess.
Yeah, and see that's the thing. Like if I don't actively search for all this shit, I don't know what's there. And it's just like these random little blips all over the place, and then I get somewhere and this like OP as fuck person is waiting there that I didn't even know, like one of the Golden Knight icons, and they're just thrashing the shit out of me, and I'm trying to run away, and they're like, "No,
Quit
fuck
it.
you."
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft has always had a formula, whether you love it or hate it, with their map clearing, where you basically go and find the beacon of light or you find the waypoint and it opens up a small area. The Division was identical, where you'd go to the safe house and then you'd get a list of jobs to do. You'd run around and do the jobs. You'd go, they've done this formula for a long time. I think what makes this one so different is you don't really know when you get to that point if it's cool or not. I feel like
Yeah,
since it's meant to be an element of surprise, they're typically lighthearted. Not always, but typically they're lighthearted. But yeah, you just don't know. It could be like this was really dumb, or this could be in light like some of those that I did. I was like, whoa, this was insane. This was a significant fight or a major revelation on something that I think is pretty substantial. Probably should have been a mainline quest, but just tucked in some random part of a continent you may never see.
yeah. I really like the way that Spider-Man went about things because it is very like there's a ton of fetch quests in Spider-Man, but
Oh yeah,
they sprinkle them in as you progress down the main storyline. So you have the opportunity to be doing them as you go
right.
instead of having a billion things out in the open world and feeling completely and totally overwhelmed, which I don't
Yes.
like. I don't like feeling totally overwhelmed, and I feel overwhelmed with Assassin's Creed.
The space, yeah, I will say that the pacing of Spider-Man I thought was phenomenal. You're exactly right. And every time you're introduced to a new villain or a new something, the map basically gets coated with more things to do. And yeah, you'll be revisiting a lot of places over and over. First time collecting backpacks, the second time stopping robberies, the third time, and it progresses all the way down. But yeah, I know what you're saying. And I think probably part of that too is the fact that it's a smaller map. I mean, Valhalla is ginormous, huge. You got to sail somewhere at a high speed, get off, get on your horse, or in my case, my giant freaking dire wolf. And then you still ride another 5 minutes to get to where you need to get to. And they kind of got to build up these, they had to fill up the map. Maybe the map was too big. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they should have looked at it and said, we could probably cut the map in half and let's just take like the top 30 of these like side missions. And instead of each zone having like 50 treasures and 50 mysteries and artifacts, let's just do like the top 10. Let's get rid of all the other ones.
Yeah, like I like Eivor's character. I haven't like fallen in love with his character yet, like I did with like Edward Kenway or Ezio. But I feel like the potential is there that I could. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that's ingratiating me with him yet. He just seems to kind of be like kind of a I don't know. Whatever. We got off on a tangent. I don't want to I don't want to decry this thing and then end up falling in love with it and later. You know what I mean? I need to finish doing what I'm doing with Spider-Man and then play Miles Morales and get this out of my system and then go and really focus on Assassin's Creed and like let myself get immersed in it instead of like thinking about, man, I wish I was playing Spider-Man right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll say from my perspective, not playing Miles Morales currently, we decided to not play that right now. We're focusing on Valhalla. I like Eivor. We're playing with the girl Eivor because you know me, I always play with girls. No joke? Okay, wow. Nothing about you only play with guys? Oh, you're slipping there, dude.
No, I know the story behind it. I'm not going to make fun of you for that. That's a valid reason.
You can make fun of me. It's fine.
Your dad gave you one objective in life, and every day you fail that objective. And there's nothing more I need to say about that.
So, moving on. So, I like Eivor. What I like about her, or him, doesn't matter. What I like about them is they're driven solely by the need to basically murder things. Yes. And it's great. It's great. You really do get in the Viking spirit because, like, this is a light spoiler. Not really. This happens in the first probably 3 hours of the game, if that. When you get to the new area, obviously you're colonizing the world. It's pretty clear. You meet up with this assassin and he gives you the hidden blade. And he's like, what you do is you wear it on the inside of your wrist. Now, this is the old school assassins where you have to cut off the part of your ring finger so the blade can stick through. That was like the pact you made. By the time we got later on, they didn't do that. They figured out a clever way to put the blade out. But she's like, Eivor's like, no. I'm not wearing it on the inside. I'm wearing it on the outside so everybody can see it. And her assassination is she just punches you in the face. There's no like hidden stealth, like sneaking around with your hood. I mean, you can wear a hood if you want. She just like runs and just punches people right in the face. And I'm like, yes. They're basically saying everything you've done as far as assassins, like, we don't care. If you want to be an assassin, that's great. But here's a really cool axe. Go throw this in somebody's face instead. Oh, and decapitate them. And when you hit a guy, his arms will blow off of his body, which makes no sense. Like the guy's hands will literally blow off. And it's just a geyser of just like a guy's like, ah, and he's just like spraying.
What weapon are you using that's getting that kill out of me?
The flail, the Morning Star, the ball and chain thing. Yeah, it's gruesome. It's gruesome. And I'm like, awesome. Yeah, this isn't an assassin's guy. I don't need to run around and sneak in the bushes. I'm just gonna walk in the base and blow the horn. Brrr, the music hits, the orchestra. Come on, boys, let's go and just murder everything. And will it last? I don't know. Is it going to be a deep moving saga? Probably not, but it's fun eye candy.
Other than Syndicate, it's typically a solo operator. one, like, obviously there are more assassins out there, but it's like focused around you and your story, and you're pretty much by yourself for the majority of the game, and that is not true. You've got like
No.
40 of your best friends with you everywhere you go.
And I keep seeing these icons for other friends. I haven't found your person yet, but I'll find other friends as Yars Viking or whatever, like your lieutenant.
Yeah.
You can recruit them into your group. So it's like, hey, join, so and so, whatever, my friend's handle. So and so's Yars Viking wants to join your clan. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I don't want your stupid bitch in my clan.
Oh, she's got a bear hat and double one-handed axes. It's pretty awesome. You can't wait. I think her name is like Crow Eye or something.
Mine
Ivana
is
Crow Eye.
like something never dead.
Well, one day I'll meet him and he can come row the boat. Take
He's
me to
like
the next
9
island.
feet tall.
It's a mountain. Okay, so I'm glad we talked about that because I wanted to ask you. I was going to ask you later, but I'm glad we talked through it, and I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on Spider-Man when you get to the end of it because I thought it was a very well done game.
Yeah, and I've still got like 6 DLC things I have to go through at the end of the normal story. So and then I can go play Miles Morales.
Yeah, I beat 2 of those 3 DLCs. I should probably beat the last one. I never did. They're clearly not as good to me as the main story, but it's more stuff. If you like challenges and,
The main story is really compelling.
Mm-hmm. Just wait till it ends, man. We'll talk about it. I'll know when you beat it.
I'm a little nervous about that.
I won't say anything. But I think the big thing I wanted to talk about this week, and I texted you about this earlier in the day. I don't know if you got a chance to really read through it or not. But it's a big article that's published in CNBC, and I will post a link to it in the description below. So if you want to read about it, you guys can. But the headline is that the former CEO of Chewy, which is the dog toy, dog treat online company, not the Wookiee, not that Chewy. This
is the
Chewy.
Worst Wookiee impression.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Chewie's been through some shit, man. You saw those last 3 movies. That he's all gray and shit. He's sad, bro. He's seen some things, man. And he's bitter. He never got the medal at the end of 4. Everyone got the medal. He didn't get a medal. Anyway,
That's right. He got snubbed.
He's pissed. His buddy gets murked. He doesn't get a medal. Like, do you think he's like, hey, everybody, I'm Chewie? He's like, hey, guys. He's probably the happiest when the series is over. He's like, shit, take the stupid hat off and go live my life. Anyways, the former CEO of Chewy, the website, has now bought into 10% of GameStop. And he wants GameStop to be the next Amazon of video games. So the dude's name is Ryan Cohen. He is a multi-gazillionaire. He sold Chewy to PetSmart for $3.5 billion. I mean, I'm not sure it wasn't solely him, but he's probably got a lion's share of it. He turned around, he bought out 10% of GameStop, and he basically makes the claim. He wrote a letter privately to GameStop, the board of directors, and then I guess decided to publicly release it because he wasn't happy with what he was hearing. And he goes on to say that, the game industry has dropped by 2.5% over the last, 2.5 times the game industry has increased over the last console generation. GameStop is in the toilet, completely in the toilet, barely holding on. And he's like, hey, we really need to turn this around ASAP if we want to make GameStop work. I think it's noble. I think it's way too late. But my question to you, 1, is what do you think about this? And 2, what do you think GameStop really can do to compete with anybody at this point?
Ryan Cohen. Fuck you.
Wow. That was a hot take. What did he do?
You wasted your money. It's too late.
Oh my God, this poor guy. It's over, bro. Is that what you're saying?
Dude, this is the company that got caught going around and firing its store managers when they hit a certain level of tenure so that they didn't have to give them any more raises. And they just bring a new like $15 an hour manager in. Like no notice. Like this is a horrible company. They've treated us like garbage universally for years. Like
they have.
I wasn't what was it when the Xbox 360 first came out? A guy bought one, and then the next day, like the day after launch, he brought it in. He'd never even used it; it was still brand new in the box. He went back. He went to GameStop to trade it in, and it was like I think they offered him like $75 for it or something. Like, come on, man.
Come on, man. Their trade-in value is pretty rough. The one part of the article that really surprised me was he says that he sees a company with valuable assets, most importantly, a strong brand and a large customer base. And I do agree with you. I think he's a little off base there. I would not say that GameStop is a strong brand.
Reviled brand.
Maybe they're maybe it's you love to be hated. Everybody hates them, so that's why they're popular. I don't know. I've had nothing but bad experience with GameStop the last few years, but I don't see. I think Amazon is light years ahead of where GameStop is, just in terms of how easy it is to access their site, the fact that Amazon offers free shipping, the fact that Amazon has their own internal distribution network, the fact that Amazon reviews are generally pretty well reflective of what the people actually are buying. It shows if you're a verified customer in terms of you actually bought it, if it's a sponsored ad, whatever. I know you can game the system a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I think just saying, hey, GameStop, we're going to offer free shipping, that's not going to win people back.
Didn't GameFly already try this? Wasn't there already a games by mail service?
It was more of a rental service, but yes. And they did have, you're right, they did have curated lists of, oh, you like this, so you may like this. You had the option to buy the game. If you liked it, you could just keep it, and they'll mail you like the book and everything, the manual and all that in the case, and you could just keep it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Ryan Cohen.
Here we go.
We can just download fucking games from our couch. We don't need to go to a store and buy them. You fucking idiot.
Wow. Is this guy like? Do you know this guy? Like, did he pick on you in school or something?
No, not at all. I just like, how can you write a condescending to letter to GameStop as a billionaire? Like, if he's the founder of Chewy, what he did was in that, and like, I work in like the
Uh-oh. Phil.
hardware, it's $1 billion. See, he thinks he's a smart guy, and then he takes a bunch of money and invests it in GameStop. Doesn't compute, and then let's make it the next Amazon. How? Why you do this?
You know what's so great about your rant? I heard it all, but it was compressed because like it froze for a second and then it caught up. But I heard everything you were saying. Legit, I caught everything. I thought we got disconnected. I was getting ready to stop, and then it just like all the like, boo, but I heard it, and I agree with you. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think that I give him credit for trying, but I don't think Keep in mind, GameStop also hired Reggie Fils-Aimé, the former, I guess, CEO of Nintendo of America, or the president of Nintendo, whatever his title was. He's on that board of directors too. So you've got a pretty star-studded cast of people who know how to make games. But I've seen no progress with GameStop. They don't seem any different. They're not trying to rebrand. It seems like it's a sinking ship. I know this latest spike of consoles coming out definitely inflates their numbers because everyone's buying stuff right now. We know that's not going to last.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it just gave them some breathing room. How many months of runway do you think that launch gave them, really?
I remember thinking when Xbox,
you mentioned this before.
I remember thinking, and I will admit I was incorrect. I thought that GameStop would go out of business prior to the launch of these consoles. So I intentionally did not pre-order a console from GameStop for that reason, because back in February, even really before COVID became what it became, and their numbers really went in the toilet, I remember thinking, I'm like, I don't want to be one of these guys to find out GameStop's belly up and there's a warehouse of PlayStation 5 somewhere. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to
Yeah.
buy anything from them. I don't want to be indebted to them. I don't want to go. I don't want anything to do with them. To me, they're already dead, and I don't want to deal with them personally. And I don't think that'll ever change.
See, now you may have said that back in February, but more recently, you pretty accurately predicted exactly what's happening. Is that if they make you pretty much said if they make it to this point, then the release of these games is going to be a major financial boon for them, and if anything, it's going to be the one thing that saves them from death's sickle. And it's going to give them room to operate and potentially pivot. And if they don't do something with it, then they're doomed forever. So you pretty much set up this exact scenario, which is what I was trying to give you credit for.
Well,
Not
thank
the
you.
statement back in February.
I gotcha. You're right. I'm looking at this is embedded in the article, but they have their stock prices, and they've been not gradually, pretty substantially dropping over the last 4 years, except for the last month or so, where they basically doubled in value from about $5 to about $12 a share, solely probably on this recent up. Look at all these sales we got. We're selling consoles, and people are coming in the store, and because there's nowhere else to buy one. That's why.
Best I can do is tree fitty.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, clearly they outsold. They sold 4 consoles to the guy in front of your brother in line at So hey, they're rolling in the dough, baby.
They're a piece of shit organization.
So I was just kind of surprised by that, because every so often it seems like you have one of these billionaire types, very. This guy probably doesn't know much about gaming. Clearly, he knows a lot about money. He's made probably more than I'll ever make my life combined. Whatever. But every so often you get these people who like, hey, we're gonna make a game console, or hey, we're gonna revitalize GameStop. It's like they see it as this, and I'm like, I don't think the people who are making these decisions understand like what a gamer thinks about GameStop. Like, we don't want to see if GameStop suddenly turns around and let's say GameStop puts Amazon out of business. I know it's not realistic, but let's just pretend. People aren't going to be like, thank God GameStop's back. I was worried there for a moment. We're going to be like, oh shit. Like, so there's already a precedent here that we want you to fail, GameStop. We already hate you. We don't like you. You need to go away. It's not working. It's not gonna change.
Yeah. And we hate you by association, Ryan Cohen. You're probably a nice guy, but you're an idiot.
You're a nice idiot, though.
Real stupid. Real stupid.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I suspect I will be shocked if GameStop makes it out of 2021. I really thought I knew this. If they made it this far, I felt like they'd have a little boost. So now we're a little bit further along, but
who's the majority owner of GameStop?
That's a really good question. The article doesn't say. I just know there's a board of 10 people. He has one seat, obviously 1/10. And he's been trying to sway other people to speak up. I know Reggie Fils-Aimé is on that board. I don't know who the other 8 people are. But he's trying. He wrote this article to essentially say, hey, guys, like, we really need to turn this around. Like, the writing's on the wall. And I'm like, writing's been on the wall for a while, bro.
Yeah, since I was like 15.
I was gonna say, it's been fun. It's been fun and cool to make fun of GameStop for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, it's been really fun watching them fail.
I feel bad for the people that work there, because honestly, some of the employees are very nice, and it's just the upsell, and there's a lot of. I mean, we could go into a whole episode on it, but just food for thought. I don't know. I'll be curious to see. That's something we'll keep our eye on, but I suspect it won't last long.
I've never encountered a guy that worked at Best Buy that wasn't a pompous douchebag. Honestly, I've never had a good experience with a GameStop employee.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. My next thing I wanted to bring up, and we didn't. I mentioned this a week or two ago. I'm not putting you on the spot right now. Game Awards, Game of the Year. Specifically, the Game Awards, hosted by the one, the only Jeff Keighley of Twitter fame. He is the one who organizes the Game Awards. He sends out ballots to the top, I want to say it's 150 game reviewers. Somehow we didn't make the cut, Phil. Maybe next year. We were not, I did not get the invitation. I triple checked my spam. I was not asked. But this council of elders convenes in a dark hallway and cast their secret ballot, and then the top Is it what's I'm counting here? The top 6 this year rise to the top, and then those are the ones that the fans vote on. And I think the fans get a portion of the vote, and the game journalists get a portion of the vote, and then ultimately a winner is crowned. Before I read the nominations to you, my first question is, do you care? Legitimately, do you care about any of this, or just what are your thoughts on it just to begin with? We'll start there.
Well, actually, no. No, I don't. I don't care at all. Not even a single fucking... No.
So I think for me, it used to mean more than it does now. And it wasn't so much that like my guy won. That was never an indication, because you have your favorite games, whether they're popular or not. It doesn't matter. You have games that mean something to you that you enjoy, whether they got a 2 out of 10 on Metacritic or they're a 10 out of 10. It's your choice, obviously. I've never subscribed to the social media aspect that like I need to be validated because people like the game I like and somehow that makes me better, or I don't know what that dynamic is. I'm too old for that. But I will say that it is always fascinating to me to see what the game journalists choose as a game of the year, just because I'm curious how much on the pulse they are of what I would consider myself as like a real gamer.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Whose opinions are reflective of reality for people who are actually the end user.
Yeah.
And that's a totally valid point of view.
So
I'd be interested to see what wins. It's like it seems that the only games that win are the ones that have the biggest circle jerk going on, honestly. Like I'm surprised that fucking Cyberpunk 2077 isn't in the running. Is it in the running? Tell me it's in the fucking running. Oh
no,
my God.
there's been some controversy with these Cusper games that came out on the timeline for what the game has to be released by totally varies. This happened last year with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It came out too late, so it wasn't considered for the candidates, and it didn't make the cut this year. So it just fades into oblivion, despite the fact that a lot of people really enjoyed it. It's on Game Pass. Yeah, it's on Game Pass now, so you can check it out. I won't say I hated it. It was okay to me. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just a game. But people feel like there was a big injustice. Like, oh my God, Jedi Fallen Order didn't win. Like, how is this possible?
Yeah. I would think that either Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us Chapter 2 will win Game of the Year, but I want to hear all 6.
Sure. I have played actually 5 of the 6, which is pretty good for me because a lot of times there's one that and the one that I haven't played, I do have, I just haven't physically gotten to it yet. So the first one is Doom Eternal, which I played and did not finish and probably will not finish. I bought it for the collector edition helmet, which I do wear and pretend to be the Doom Slayer. The game is not what people wanted. It is way too technical. There are way too many systems and button presses, and it is not a fun game. That game will not win Game of the Year. I would bet $1 on it. $1 American
Why is
dollar.
it even nominated? Because it's a Bethesda game?
Slim pickings, honestly.
Eh.
Next one is Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's the one game I have yet to play. My problem with a remake, for me personally, is that it doesn't really bring anything new to the table. Final Fantasy VII, for me, and I think many of people around my age, will go down as probably one of the greatest games ever. I'm talking the original, way back in PlayStation days. Just because it was the first time we ever had a mature RPG where there was cussing and death and violence and a big character twist about halfway through. Universally revered. And honestly, looking at the game now, that's how I remember it 20 years ago. So, nostalgia, rose-colored glasses, whatever.
Skyrim's the best game of all time.
See? And there you go. Skyrim's not nominated. Why isn't Skyrim nominated? Wait till it comes out. Wait till it comes out next year. We're back, baby. As you mentioned, Ghost is on there. Ghost of Tsushima. Hades. I don't know if you ever played Hades. It's an indie game. It seems like there's always a press to bring in one indie game just to like celebrate indies. Hades is definitely not going to win Game of the Year. It's a little roguelike RPG game. I bought it on early access for $12 from the Epic Game Store. It's fun. You play it for an hour and it's cute and you put it away. But you're not gonna. It's not gonna give you a feeling that even Doom did in terms of like production value or any of that. I don't know why it's on the list. Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
Ooh,
It's good to
it's
see.
a legit contender.
It's good to see Nintendo making the list again. I think for me and many others, Animal Crossing came out at a perfect time
Yeah,
because COVID, we were all miserable and starting to really come to terms with significant amounts of depression. And then you have this super happy, fun game that just whisked all that away. And you built an island and you met people and they came to your island, you traded for apples, and it was fun. I liked it. I played it, I think about 120 days straight, and I never touched it again. I'll probably never play it again. But I had fun with it. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd check my email for work, and then I'd go check my island, and it was fun. It passed the time. So I think any other year, people would be like, oh, okay. But COVID, hey, this is great. And then lastly, the other one you mentioned, The Last of Us Part 2, which I suspect will win despite it being incredibly polarizing by many, many, many people, myself included. I don't think I liked it as much as I think I loved it, now in hindsight.
No, Ghost of Tsushima or Animal Crossing will win. Most likely Ghost of Tsushima.
I hope Ghost wins because there's nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. And I'm looking at this list and thinking about my time with all of those games, and Ghost was the only one that was so radically different than anything. It wasn't a first-person shooter. It wasn't a remake. It wasn't an open world, loot fest. It was a very story-driven game about what it means to hold on to old values in a new world. And it was really good. Really good. The story was really good. It was beautiful. It looked well. So I would be shocked if it didn't win, but knowing how much the press loves The Last of Us, it'll probably win, but it'll be one of those two, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't hear anything about Fall Guys or Among Us.
I was, so Among Us actually has been out for a while.
Yeah, well,
But
whatever.
but you understand. I agree. I get your point. There are other categories, so I didn't go through all of them. They may be buried in here. There's like 6,000 categories this year. Fall Guys, yeah, that was definitely a fun game. Yeah,
I'm sad we never got to play that together.
well, you chose you chose the wrong side. And I told you when you come to PlayStation, I will not laugh at you. I will not shun you. I will accept you with open arms. And I have. I haven't said, you really screwed up the last 5 years of your life.
Among Us isn't available on PlayStation. Are you
No,
talking about Fall
I'm
Guys?
talking about Fall Guys, which was free on PlayStation. I'm looking, there are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24 categories, including Best Esports Athlete. I gotta click on this one. Let's see if I recognize any of these names.
Athlete? Really? We're
Athlete.
calling them athletes?
Okay, there's one guy I recognize who plays Call of Duty who used to play Halo, Shotzi. I do know Shotzi. So he'll
Is
get my
Tim the
vote.
Tatman on there?
Who's that?
Tim the Tatman?
Tim the Tatman is not an esports athlete, but I think there is let me look and see if there's a content. There's so many categories. It's like, I swear, like the webpage takes so long to load because there's so much shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you could hear like a crank. Like I'm waiting for it to load. Let's see if I can find it here. I got to click on view all categories. God, the site. I don't know who manages this site. He would probably be considered a personality. He wouldn't be a host. He wouldn't be a game. He would be a content creator of the year. That's what he would be. Is he on here? We're going to look and see. It's loading. There are 5 content creators of the year. Alana Pierce, your buddy. Jay Ann Lopez, I do not know who that is. Nick Merckx, I do know who that is. Valky Ray, I do know who that is. And Tim the Tatman in all his glory. So he's on there.
Attaboy.
So, I mean, I don't know if I'll vote for Alana. I might. We'll see.
Dude, vote for Tim the Tatman. Do it.
Do it. I'm not going to vote for Alana. Alana doesn't even. Alana just jumped ship again, and now she's working on the God of War sequel. I know. I know, dude. What? Okay, so moving on.
Wow.
The last. How we doing on time? We got a couple more. We got a couple more topics to get through. Briefly, since we don't really mention Nintendo outside of random Reggie Fils-Aimé things, I wanted to get your take on this. You know, we've really criticized PlayStation's user interface over the last episode. Some of the things we weren't a big fan of. Love or hate Xbox, their user face is what it is. Nintendo Switch has had no major upgrades since launch of this console. There's a Reddit post, or maybe it's on NeoGAF. It's like, it's been 1,908 days, whatever. I don't know how many it's been. A lot. Since the Nintendo Switch launched, and we've had 0 updates, no achievements, no folders to put your games in, no active wallpapers. The list goes on and on. Like, do you think, like, does that surprise you, number one? And then number two, do you care?
No, it doesn't surprise me. No, I don't care. Why would we need any of that? Why? It's like a $200 video game console to play Pokemon on. Shut the fuck up.
I feel like Nintendo can do better. And I don't mean hardware. Yes, their hardware, they did a very odd thing with this portability, which ultimately did pan out. I got to give them credit. But people like Gucci stuff. They do. They like shiny lights and buttons, and you want the 4K menus, and you want, you know, I mean, people like that. That's the thing.
No, stop. That's never been what Nintendo's been about. Nintendo is about getting the common man, getting their video game system and their consoles and their games into the hands of as many people as possible, making it fun, functional, and accessible. And you know what? God bless them, because they're not trying to cram a screen or whatever the fuck, like all this different patches and software and nonsense and bullshit, all this functionality, like 90% of it nobody ever fucking uses. They're not constantly trying to jam that down our throats. They're special. They're doing their own thing. They do it well. Leave them the fuck alone. We don't need 4K texture packs to play Pokemon. Fuck
Why is it Pokemon? Why is that's the only game on Switch is Pokemon?
Okay. I'm sorry. We don't need 4K Mario. We don't need 4K Legend of Zelda. End of fucking list.
But don't you feel like there's a big opportunity they're missing? Because Nintendo has so much nostalgia. How cool would it be to have Yoshi in your background, or to have Dr. Mario?
Stop.
Kid
we
Icarus.
Don't need that. We don't need that, dude. They've sold every console that they've ever made. Every Nintendo console that has ever been manufactured has sold. There's not a single one that's ever sat on a shelf. They're doing fine.
Well, they did dabble into Twitter, allowing you to take screenshots and small gameplay clips years ago at launch. And people liked it, and we were ready for more. You can't download any apps on there. You can't watch Hulu on there. You can't. It's just, for a portable console, I feel like they missed the boat. I do agree with this poster, whoever he or she is.
Fuck both of you.
Yeah, there's one upvote and it's mine. Okay, I just wanted to get your hot take on that. I guess I could see it in the other sense, that just cut the fluff and get to the games. I do agree with that. That console needs every ounce of power it can get. So maybe it was a design choice. So like, listen, we put a background on this thing's gonna blow up. We can't be doing that. Bro, this thing's smoking, bro.
It was just powerful enough to run Skyrim, a game that's like 100 years old.
I was gonna say, like, we can't even get Hyrule Warriors to run at like 25 frames a second. Like, we better just let's ease off on it. You're gonna get a blue background, a white background, or a black background. That's it.
Dude, the funniest part of that whole console is the docking station with the HDMI port. Like, you don't need that. You don't need that.
Okay. Well, I wanted to give him some love. because I think it's important. The last thing I wanted to talk about is headsets. And this is something that you and I have been talking about a lot. I've been keeping an eye on it. Yep, you got some headset. That's the Sony ones?
Sony.
Okay. My channel is blown up significantly over the discussion of headsets. Apparently it's a hot topic. And I know you and I have talked a lot on this show about early adopters and us not getting, the best tech and all that. It seems that people are still really yearning for better tech. I have read, I'm not going to pull the trigger yet. I'm still rocking the pulse and I enjoy them. But I have read that the SteelSeries Arctis 7, which you linked to me 3 months ago, people really like that headset, man. They say it's a really good headset.
Yeah, SteelSeries does a nice job. My Arctis 9Xs do a fantastic job. I mean, other than some connection issues, but if you look at the reviews of the Arctis, those are for the Xbox, and it has that proprietary connection situation. Whereas the one with the USB dongle, if you read the reviews, there's none of that problem present that anyone has to deal with. So that's got to be more of an Xbox thing than a SteelSeries thing, because the sound quality is fantastic. The build quality is fantastic. The microphone is awesome. The microphone is a little too good. You, as my gaming partner, having to listen to me eating apples, that must have been torture. Just torture.
What was those little things you were eating that one time we were playing with Blake? Like Fun Noodles or whatever?
Veggie straws.
Veggie straws. Dude, it was like the roast of Phil. We just... For like 30 minutes, I think we quit playing and just made fun of you. It was great.
We sat in the middle of a level, an active firefight, and just back-whacked each other and talked shit about these veggie straws. And anytime anyone got close to us, we'd gang up on them and kill them, and then we'd just go back to harassing each other. That was fun. That was in case you want to relive that moment, everyone. It was the final part of Halo 5. The Meridian Station, right before you leave, on your way up to see Governor Sloan. And yes, we griefed each other. The elevator ride from hell, we never got to the top because there were plasma grenades and Promethean grenades everywhere. Rocket launchers, energy swords, you named it. Dude.
We used it. But
R.I.P. Blake, too, because before we move on, I just have to say he bought an Xbox One X to play with us, and he played once.
I think we got him to play one round of Halo and one round of Red Dead. I think, but I don't think we ever played with him. I think he was just in the demo or whatever. He never got
the
tutorial.
Tutorial. Yeah.
So I'm gonna come back to Red Dead in a second, but with the headphone thing, I was really hoping that these Odysseys, the Primrose, was going to be kind of the go-to. And initially,
the Penrose?
Penrose. It seemed like everybody initially hated them.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, maybe people like them more. I still haven't seen a formal review, but if I was going to spend $300, I think it'd be on Penrose, if I had to pick one. But I don't know enough about them. I'm not in love with the Pulse, but I don't hate them. It depends on the game. But I don't know. It's just interesting that of all the things that have risen to the top, headphones seem to be like one of the hottest things right now. People are really, really into headphones.
Yeah. I honestly may just take the plunge and buy a pair of those Penroses.
Will we get an unboxing from you?
Yeah, I'll give it to you and you can put it on your channel. Then we can do like an actual formal review and you can get the reviews. You can get the views for it.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if you get them. Take them. I would love to go out and buy stuff, but I just blew $4,700 to make my upstairs not be 94 degrees.
Stop. No one here feels bad for you. Just stop.
Sorry,
you have an entire wing of your house dedicated to playing video games.
My $400 glasses are fogging up from my tears. Could you say that again?
Bear in mind, the only space that's upstairs is Jim's gaming room. So his personal air conditioner for his gaming room, which has 3 flat screens in it, and a production level studio nook, is a little hot right
It's a
now.
little hot. Welcome to the dirty South with no air. The humidity is what gets you, man. It's the humidity. Wrapping up with your guilty pleasure of a game, one that I slowly come back to every so often and play with you. I saw it today. Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting a re-release for the next generation of consoles, which will be the online variant only, which will include all of the DLC. So you don't have to go out and hunt, 50 gold bars to get the naturalist expansion. I'm sure you get some funny money with it too. I don't know. But are you like really thinking about this? Like, are you back in? Because I remember we played and we were hot and cold on Rockstar games for a couple weeks there. I think we ultimately backed off, but what are your thoughts?
I won't buy it because I know you won't play it with me.
I'll play it with you if you want.
See, there's that little passive aggressive qualifier there. If you want, like Jim, I love you so much. You're the king of passive aggression. You're such a passive aggressive little bitch. You really are.
I am.
If you want.
I just think about all the crap we went through.
Yes,
we had fun.
Yes.
But we had nothing to play. We had nothing to play.
Yes, that was like those Grand Theft Auto days were moments of desperation.
I just think, like, if they could say, look, we've fixed it, and by fixed it, like, the matchmaking doesn't suck. Like, the posse everyone can actively be in the posse. I don't have to get re-invited every time I join the game. You won't get griefed. It seems like they largely fixed that. It was fun. I liked hunting with you. I really did. Walking around, we were doing, I don't know, you know all the terms, but like we were walking together.
Oh yeah, we were driving.
Driving, yeah, and we were like kind of looking and walking and killing stuff and looting. That was fun. I really did enjoy that. I didn't enjoy a lot of the random disconnects. I didn't enjoy selling like 700 pounds of elk meat for like a nickel. I forget the guy's name, like Butcher Bill or whatever. He's like, let's see what you got here. And he's like, here's a penny. And I'm like, ew. I can't remember his name, but you know what I'm talking about. He was like the DLC guy out in the wild.
The fat guy that lives up in the random parts of the hill country.
The fact that I only could afford suspenders and I couldn't even buy a shotgun, 1, because of the level cap, 2, because of the money cap.
That level cap is such bullshit, dude.
I really, and honestly, I think those are the things they need to address. I think if they could fix that, I think it'd be fun. Oh, you're only a level 1 cowboy. You only get a rusty revolver. But the level 10 cowboy, now he gets a really cool gun. Like, I hate that.
If I have the money for it, let me buy it. Just let me buy it.
Yeah, I mean...
But that one incident that we had where you just kind of lost your mind on that trail by the water, that was an interesting play.
The murder, the Red River incident, as we call it.
Massacre on that level, ever. Do you want to tell the people what you did, Jim? You can't even look at the camera. You're ashamed.
There was a pile of bodies, like 10 feet high, I feel like. And it all spiraled. One guy got cute and got shot. He walked right through my camp, first of all. That's rude. So he got...
He didn't. He rode... There's a trail directly adjacent to our camp. He rode down the trail, and you're like, nuh-uh, motherfucker. And you lasso him off your horse, hog tie him, throw him over your shoulder, and then throw him into the water still alive that's infested with crocodiles.
He died. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. And then, like, 3 seconds later, another guy showed up. I'm like, well, shit, I'm not going to jail. So he's got, like... And before you know it, the police were after us. It was a nightmare. We went through a lot of ammo. It was fun, and I laughed hysterically. But to me, that's how Rockstar games always devolve. It's like, give me a rocket launcher, and let me see how long I can stay alive, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I really invest time into it and like build up my character, and only because it's such a cumbersome system. And I think that's what always brings me back to like why I'm not a big fan of these games for that exact reason.
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah, no, the new Red Dead Online for next gen is not on my radar. No, I mean if it came with an up-resed version of the original game and
Yeah.
it was all wrapped together in a tidy package for $30, maybe, but no.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I thank you for humoring me for recording as late as we did. I'm gonna
You've waited for me before.
waited for you. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Phil for the
Oh,
infamous, the best part of the show.
forgot, forgot about it again. Oh my God. We appreciate you tuning in. And just as Rockstar Games can never figure out how to make an unbroken game, war also never changes.